And in a world marked by shifting alliances, rising tensions, and unpredictable leadership, understanding the global landscape has never been more critical. From renewed instability in the Middle East to evolving power dynamics between the United States, China, and Russia, nations across the globe are recalibrating their positions, and Canada is no exception. With former President Donald Trump back in office, questions are being raised about America's role in global affairs, the implications of escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, and what it all means for global markets and Canadian interests. I'm now joined by Thomas Caldwell, chair at Caldwell Securities Limited. Thomas, thanks for joining me today.
Oh, Theresa.
Now, regarding America's influence in the world, has there been a change since Donald Trump took power? Was it good or bad, or could you elaborate?
Well, there's been a dramatic change, and it's been a deterioration in their leadership in the world. Um, America is not seen as a leader anymore. You know, a leader has to be trusted and respected, and Mr. Trump is neither of those, and therefore America is not trusted or respected. So there has been a dramatic change. I think it can be a positive because we all have to start pulling our own weight. We have to be more responsible. We have to be more grown up. And we can't rely on America for everything. And America makes great mistakes and has done in the past as well. So I think it's good that we're becoming more standalone. And I think it's good for Canada. It's a tough lesson, but Mr. Trump is seen as kind of mercurial. I was kind of laughing about this G7. It's like having your drunken Uncle Harry at the Christmas dinner. Everybody's sort of dancing around and trying to humor and make sure he doesn't blow up or cause a scene. And that's really what's been going on, I think, out there. So, yeah, it has been a significant deterioration. It's not to say it's going to stay that way forever, but it's going to be that way for a while.
Now, dramatic events are occurring with Israel and Iran as we speak. What do you think are the main geopolitical influences in the world?
Well, to speak regarding Israel, Israel is fighting for its life. We can have debates and discussions, and Iran has now asked Trump indirectly to see if he can negotiate a ceasefire. Um, Israel, again, it comes to this leadership. And I guess deep down, they're not going to say it, but they're not totally convinced that President Trump is going to work in their best interest. He wants to have a deal and thump his chest and say, here's what I've done. But they are fighting for their lives. Gaza showed them that. And if Iran gets several nuclear devices, they have a delivery mechanism now. They can't have that. They just can't have it. It's a no discussion. They're going to flatten them in any way they can to try to debase that nuclear threat because it is an existential threat to Israel. So it's a lot more serious than we who are out of the line of fire think.
Well, and to speak on that, a lot of people, when they're not in the line of fire, don't really think that it affects them. So, what does this conflict going on in the Middle East, what does this mean for Canada?
Well, no one ever knows exactly. Any fool can start a war. You just don't know how they're going to end up. I mean, witness the Gaza situation. But I think from our perspective, it's impacting oil prices a little bit here. There was talk of an oversupply. There's the distinct possibility, if this thing doesn't end soon, that Iran will start to try to close off the Strait of Hormuz. A tremendous amount of oil comes through there. So that will drive up oil prices, et cetera. The other thing is kind of an intangible, and I think it's Canada's role in the world can be quite positive. We're seen as semi-normal, balanced, whatever, and Mr. Carney is an adult versus the previous iteration of prime minister. But I think we have a role to play in the world. I don't know exactly what it is, but we're seen as more trusted now, and he's seen as a statesman to a greater degree. So I think Canada's role in the diplomatic side, you just had that previous clip about Europe, I think that's going to be improving.
Now, in regards to Prime Minister Mark Carney taking the position as Prime Minister, where does Canada stand right now from an economic standpoint?
Well, we at least are now starting to think of economic growth as a positive thing. We've had 10 years of anti-economic growth focusing solely on carbon, and that has caused tremendous deterioration in our economy. Youth unemployment is well north of 20% in Canada now. So the real focus here, now, admittedly, a lot of the Liberal Party is the same old characters, but I think under Mr. Carney's leadership, there is going to be a refocus toward economic growth. We have to have that. If we do not have that, our biggest export is going to be smart young people to the United States, and that's happening already. So I think it's positive, a focus on growth of some variety right across the board. That's what we have to be thinking of. And then, of course, there's money to do all kinds of things. But we've really had 10 years of hostility in that regard.
And do you have any comments on the stock market? Have they been strong in spite of some of the negativity going on?
Well, in spite of the negativity, and maybe because of the negativity, markets are really a voting mechanism where people are voting with their money. That is, they're saying, how can I be safe? I mean, what do I trust? And I think people are making a decision if I can buy good companies paying dividends or growing or with unique products, etc. If I can buy good companies, that's the best way to preserve my wealth. And remember, inflation is a permanent fact of life. Governments all over are still spending like drunken sailors. So what's going to happen here? More inflation. That's unending. And the only way to protect yourself against that is stuff. And that means pieces of good companies. So I think that's what's happening here. It's a defensive mechanism as opposed to an aggressive mechanism.
Now, we do just have a little bit of time left for this interview, but what advice would you give to people right now that are looking to get into the stock market with this economic uncertainty?
Start now. Just start now. Just start buying a little bit, whether it be in a fund or whatever, but start now. And don't get too creative. Don't worry about timing markets. It doesn't matter. Markets sort of wobble all over the place, but they still have an upward trend. When I came into this investment business, the Dow was trying to get through 1,000. It's now at 40 plus thousand. So all the gyrations in between were just buying opportunities. So just get in the idea of regularly investing. I mean, I'm not smart enough to know if today is the day you should buy it, but probably today's the day you should start.
Well, Thomas, thank you so much for the time today.
You're very welcome, Theresa. All the best.